In the noisy city of Onitsha, where buses coughed black smoke into the air and traders shouted prices from sunrise to sunset, a man named Ikemefuna was known as one of the most honest mechanics in the area. His workshop was small, just a zinc roof leaning over a cracked concrete floor. The smell of oil, metal, and hot rubber lived there. Drivers trusted him. Okada riders greeted him. Children waved when they passed his shop. "Good morning, Master Ikena," they would shout. And he would smile. "May your path be smooth today." But there was something about Ikemefuna's eyes. They carried a weight that no one could name. Only he knew why. Because Ikemefuna was not the name he was born with. Long ago, before the city swallowed him, before the grease under his nails became his daily badge, he had another name. Afam. In those days, he was not a mechanic. He was not a husband. He was not a father. He was a boy with anger in his chest and hunger in his belly. Afam grew up in a small roadside settlement where trucks roared past day and night. His father died when he was 10. His mother sold roasted corn by the roadside, but the money was never enough. He left school early. There was no food at home. No future in the village. Then he met them. 4 boys, a few years older than him. They dressed better. They always had money for beer, cigarettes, and meat pies. They called themselves the Road Boys. At first, they were friendly. Afam, one of them said one evening, "Why are you suffering like this when the road is full of careless travelers?" Afam did not understand. Another boy laughed. "Drivers carry money. Traders carry goods. All we do is collect our own share." Afam shook his head. "That is stealing." The leader of the group, a tall boy named Okena, leaned close and whispered, "Is it stealing when the world has already stolen from you?" Those words settled into Afam's heart like a heavy stone. The first time he joined them, they only blocked the road with stones at night. When a driver stopped, they demanded money. No knives. No guns. Just fear. Afam's hands shook as he collected the money. But when he went home with more money than his mother had ever seen, she cried tears of relief. "Where did you get this?" she asked. "From work," he said. And he did not look her in the eye. Weeks turned into months. The robberies became bolder. They started carrying knives. Then cutlasses. Afam stopped feeling afraid. He started feeling powerful. But the elders used to say, when a young man dances with fire, he forgets that the ashes will still recognize his footprints. Afam did not understand that proverb then. He would soon learn. One night, the moon was hidden behind heavy clouds. The road was silent, except for the sound of insects and distant engines. Okena smiled. "Tonight, we stop the big buses. Traders are traveling." They placed logs across the road. Soon, a small pickup truck approached. It slowed. Then stopped. A man stepped out. He was middle-aged, wearing a white shirt and carrying a small leather bag. "Please," the man said calmly, "I don't have much money. I am only a schoolteacher returning home." Afam felt something twist inside him. But Okena pushed him forward. "Search him." Afam reached for the man's bag. The man held it tightly. "This is my salary. My children are waiting." Okena grew impatient. "Give it here." The teacher struggled. Someone shouted. Someone pushed. Then a knife flashed in the darkness. There was a scream. The man collapsed. For a moment, no one moved. Even the insects seemed to fall silent. Afam stared at the ground. The teacher's white shirt was turning dark with blood. "I didn't mean," one of the boys stammered. Okena grabbed the bag. "Run!" But Afam could not move. The man's eyes were open. Still. Empty. That night, Something inside Afam died too. He ran without knowing where his feet were taking him. He ran through bushes, across streams, into another town. He ran until the sun rose. And when the sun rose, Afam decided that the boy he used to be must disappear forever. He boarded a lorry heading to Onitsha. When the driver asked his name, he paused. Then he said, Ikemefuna. A new name. A new life. He worked as an apprentice under a strict mechanic who believed in hard work and honesty. Ikemefuna learned fast. He never stole. Never lied. Never missed work. Years passed. He married a kind woman named Adis. They had 2 children. They lived in a small room behind the workshop. Slowly, he built a reputation. People said, if Ikemefuna fixes your engine, it will not fail you on the road. But at night, when the city grew quiet, he sometimes heard the echo of that scream. And he would wake up sweating. One evening, many years later, he stood in front of a small piece of land near the main road. It was not much, but it was enough. He held the paper in his hand. His own land. Soon, he would build a proper garage. A big one. With a signboard that read, Ikemefuna Auto Works, honest hands, strong engines. Adi smiled beside him. God has been good to us. He nodded. Yes. The past is gone. But as the elders say, the earth never forgets the weight of the footsteps that once pressed into it. Across the road, a stranger stood watching him. The man's eyes were sharp. His face was calm. But there was something in his gaze that made Ikemefuna's chest tighten. The stranger stepped closer. Good evening, he said quietly. Ikemefuna forced a smile. Good evening, my brother. Can I help you? The man looked straight into his eyes. And then he said a name that had not been spoken in many years. Afam. The words seemed to stop. The noise of the city faded. The smell of petrol disappeared. Even the air felt heavy. Ikemefuna's hands began to shake. I think you have mistaken me, he whispered. But the stranger did not smile. No, he said. I never forget a face. Especially the face of the man who ran the night my brother died. The past had found its way home. The noise of the city slowly returned, the honk of buses, the chatter of traders, the clatter of tools from nearby workshops, but everything sounded far away, like echoes from a distant hill. The stranger stood calmly in front of him, as if he had all the time in the world. Adis noticed the tension. Ikem, who is this man? Ikemefuna forced a smile that felt like a mask glued to his face. No one, my wife. Just someone who is lost. The stranger did not speak. He only watched. Adis nodded politely and gathered the children. Come inside. Your father will join us soon. As they walked away, Ikemefuna felt the weight of 2 words pressing against his chest, the peaceful life he had built, and the dark nights he had tried to bury. When they were alone, the stranger spoke again. My name is Chibuzo, he said. My brother was called Emeka. He was a schoolteacher. Ikemefuna swallowed. I am sorry for your loss. But you are mistaken about me. Chibuzo's eyes did not move. You were the smallest of the boys that night. You wore a red shirt. You kept saying, let him go. But when the knife came out, you ran like the others. Ikemefuna's legs felt weak. Those words, those exact words, had lived inside his head for years. He whispered, what do you want from me? Chibuzo surprised him. I did not come for revenge. Ikemefuna blinked. Then why are you here? Chibuzo looked down at the ground, then back up. Because the dead do not rest when the truth is buried. The wind blew dust across the road. A plastic bag floated past them like a wandering spirit. Ikemefuna felt a chill. In my village, Chibuzo continued, The elders say, when a man dies unjustly, his spirit sits by the road and waits for justice to pass. My brother has been waiting for many years. Ikemefuna closed his eyes. I was young, he whispered. I did not kill him. But you were there. The words struck like a hammer. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Ikemefuna spoke. If you are not here for revenge, then what do you want? Chibuzo's voice was calm, but heavy. I want you to come back with me to the village. Ikemefuna's eyes widened. What? The elders want the truth. My mother is old now. She still cries for her son. She says his spirit visits her in dreams, asking why the men who killed him walk freely. Ikemefuna shook his head quickly. No. No, I cannot go back there. Why not? Chibuzo asked. You know why. Ikemefuna snapped, then lowered his voice. If they see me, they will kill me. Chibuzo folded his arms. The elders have called for a meeting. Not a fight. They want to hear your story. That is all. Ikemefuna laughed bitterly. In stories, maybe. But in real life, angry men do not listen to stories. Chibuzo stepped closer. My brother was a good man. He taught children how to read. He fixed broken desks with his own hands. He walked miles to school because he could not afford a bicycle. Ikemefuna looked away. He had 2 daughters, Chibuzo continued. After he died, they left school. My mother sold her farmland to bury him. We all suffered because of that night. The words felt like stones being dropped into Ikemefuna's heart. I am sorry, he whispered. Chibuzo nodded slowly. Sorry is a good word. But sorry does not heal the dead. They stood in silence again. A group of boys ran past, laughing, chasing an old tire with sticks. One of them looked at Ikemefuna and waved. Master Ikena. My father says thank you for fixing the bus. Ikemefuna forced a smile and waved back. When the boys were gone, Chibuzo spoke softly. You have built a good life here. Ikemefuna nodded. Wife. Children. Respect. Another nod. But that life is built on a secret. And secrets are like termites. They eat the wood quietly until the house falls. Ikemefuna felt a tremor run through him. My family knows nothing, he said. If this secret comes out, everything will be destroyed. Chibuzo looked at him with something like pity. Everything was destroyed the night my brother died. The words hung in the air like smoke. After a long pause, Ikemefuna asked, if I go, what will happen to me? Chibuzo shrugged slightly. That is for the elders to decide. Ikemefuna felt fear rise in his chest. And if they decide I must pay with my life? Chibuzo did not answer immediately. Instead, he said, in our tradition, truth is more powerful than punishment. Sometimes, confession brings peace where revenge cannot. Ikemefuna shook his head. You speak like a man with nothing to lose. Chibuzo's eyes hardened. I lost my brother. My mother lost her son. His children lost their father. Do not tell me I have nothing to lose. Ikemefuna felt shame wash over him. The sun was setting now, painting the sky in deep orange. Shadows stretched across the road. Chibuzo reached into his pocket and brought out a small object. It was an old, faded photograph. He handed it to Ikemefuna. It showed a smiling man in a white shirt, standing in front of a small classroom. 2 little girls clung to his legs. My brother, Chibuzo said. Ikemefuna stared at the picture. His hands trembled. He could almost see the blood on that white shirt again. Take it, Chibuzo said. Ikemefuna hesitated. Why? So you remember the face of the man whose life was taken? Slowly, Ikemefuna took the photograph. It felt heavier than it should. I will return tomorrow, Chibuzo said. Think about what I have said. He turned and began to walk away. After a few steps, he stopped and spoke without turning around. The elders say, a man who hides from his shadow will still meet it when the sun rises. Then he disappeared into the crowd. Ikemefuna stood alone, holding the photograph. The laughter of his children floated from the house behind him. For the first time in many years, he felt like Afam again, the frightened boy running through the dark. And he knew one thing. The past was no longer buried. That night, the air inside Ikemefuna's small house felt heavier than usual. The kerosene lamp flickered softly, casting long shadows on the mud-colored walls. The smell of egusi soup filled the room, but the warm, familiar scent did nothing to calm his heart. Adi spread the mat on the floor. The children sat cross-legged, already dipping their fingers into the bowl. "Papa, come and eat," his son, Obina, called. Ikemefuna sat down slowly. The photograph of the school teacher was hidden in his pocket. It felt like a hot coal burning against his thigh. He dipped his hand into the soup, but his appetite had vanished. Adis noticed. "What is wrong with you?" "Nothing," he said quickly. She frowned. "Since that man came, your face has not been the same." Ikemefuna forced a small laugh. "It is just work stress." But Adis knew her husband well. She had seen him in sickness, in poverty, in small victories. She knew the difference between tiredness and fear. She lowered her voice. "Who is he?" Ikemefuna hesitated. His mind raced like a broken engine. If he told her the truth, everything might collapse. If he kept quiet, the lie would keep growing. The elders used to say, "A pot that hides boiling water will one day burst and scald the cook." He felt that boiling inside him. "I met him long ago," he said carefully. "In my youth." Adis nodded slowly. "From your village?" "Yes." "Then why did you look like you saw a ghost?" Ikemefuna swallowed. "Because he knows something about me." The children were busy eating, unaware of the tension floating above their heads. Adis' voice softened. "Ikem, what are you hiding from me?" He stared at the soup. The oil floated on top, forming small circles like eyes watching him. "I was not always the man you know," he said quietly. Adis waited. "When I was young, life was hard. Too hard. I fell in with bad friends." She did not interrupt. "We robbed people on the highway," he continued, his voice barely above a whisper. Adis' hand froze midair. "What?" "I was young. Hungry. Angry at the world. I thought I had no choice." The children laughed at something, still unaware. The sound felt distant to both adults. Adis' voice was low and trembling. "Did you hurt anyone?" Ikemefuna's eyes filled with tears. "One night, a man died. A school teacher. It was not me who stabbed him, but I was there. I ran away. I changed my name. I became Ikemefuna." Adis slowly removed her hand from the bowl. "You lied to me," she said. He shook his head. "I wanted to tell you. Many times. But I was afraid you would leave." She stared at him, her eyes full of hurt. "So you built our whole life on a lie?" "I built it on a second chance," he whispered. Silence filled the room. Finally, she asked, "And that man today?" "He is the dead man's brother." Adis gasped softly. "What does he want?" "He says the elders in their village want the truth. He wants me to come back with him." The children had finished eating and were now playing with a small plastic car in the corner. Adis looked at them. Then back at her husband. "If you go," she said slowly, "they might not let you come back." "I know. And if you don't go, this secret will keep chasing us." Ikemefuna nodded. She sighed deeply. "The elders say, The child who refuses to wash his hands will eat with the spirits. You cannot keep living like this. Her words pierced him. He had expected anger. Maybe even shouting. But instead, she was speaking truth. What do you think I should do? He asked. Adis looked at him for a long moment. When I married you, I married the man you are now, she said. But the man you were is still part of you. You cannot bury him forever. Ikemefuna felt tears run down his face. I am afraid, he admitted. She reached out and held his hand. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is walking even when your legs are shaking. He looked at her, surprised. She smiled faintly. My grandmother used to say that. They sat quietly. Then Obinna ran over. Papa, look. My car is faster than Chika's. Ikemefuna forced a smile. That is because it has a strong engine, like the ones I fix. Chika giggled. Papa can fix anything. Those words stabbed his heart. If only they knew. Later that night, after the children slept, Ikemefuna sat outside under the dim glow of a streetlight. The city was quieter now. Only distant engines and barking dogs filled the air. He took out the photograph again. The schoolteacher's smile looked gentle, kind. A man who did not deserve the darkness that found him. I am sorry, Ikemefuna whispered. The wind rustled a nearby tree, as if carrying his words away. He remembered something his mother once told him. When a man's past knocks on his door, it is not always to punish him. Sometimes, it is to teach him how to live the rest of his life. Footsteps approached. He looked up. It was Chibuzo. I said I would return, the stranger said. Ikemefuna nodded. I know. Chibuzo studied his face. Have you decided? Ikemefuna took a deep breath. His chest felt tight, but his mind was strangely calm. Yes, he said. I will go with you. Chibuzo's expression did not change, but his shoulders relaxed slightly. We leave at dawn, he said. Ikemefuna nodded again. As Chibuzo walked away, Ikemefuna looked back at his small house. Through the window, he could see Adi sleeping beside the children. He did not know if he would ever see them again. But for the first time in many years, the weight inside his chest felt a little lighter. Because the man called Afam was no longer running. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell button for the next episode.